My neighbor Doug has some wood chips here, been back here for years, and should be composted pretty well at this stage. So I brought my new manure fork from redlinesystemsinc.com. I'm going to try to get some of these composted wood chips and put them on our yard. If you remember last fall, I used our mulcher on our Mini X to clear the brush around Doug's pond. Well, this was the deal. I clear the brush around the pond and I get all the compost that I want. So that's what's going on here. And we'll see how much compost I want. I really don't know. I don't know how well it's composted yet. That's the big thing. And we won't know a lot of that until we kind of get it out and spread it on the yard. I also don't know if the manure fork is the optimal tool. I know that I can get a bigger load than I can with a bucket, right? Because it's not got a top on it or anything. Now just taking a look at that, it looks like a lot of soil in there. So I think that may be good. I know that I can stick those forks in there far enough that I can't lift it. So I have to back out to where I can lift or curl. See, that's a big load. It's not a heavy load, but it's a big load. Doug said he had turned this pile, but I don't believe it's been turned, and so I think it may be more wood chips than mulch in some areas. And then in other areas, it looks like the soil's pretty good. So we'll just have to see how it goes when we go to spread it. Typically, you start loading in the front of a trailer, but I wasn't sure how heavy this stuff would be, and I want to make sure I can dump it. So I thought I would start at the back. Some of those are pretty fresh wood chips, aren't they?
Got on my foot.
These wood chips are from a local tree company. They typically would have to pay to get rid of them, but Doug said he would take them if they would just drop them off, and so that's what they've done. Some of them have been here a couple of years, some of them maybe not quite so long. Dave wants me to spread it. I don't know that I've got the spread capability.
Finesse. Oh, you don't have the board in the back of this trailer, do you? But you got the dovetail.
I got the dovetail. I just have to chain it or whatever.
Right. Just dump it. We got tractors.
Exactly. How come we're having leak through? Dave, that's a you problem. I think it must be aux versus dump. I don't use this trailer very often. As you know, you don't see it very often. It's always worked beautifully, and I wonder if I've got an internal valve leak here on this valve.
Right.
Because when I let off the, okay, I need to switch that to aux.
Without dumping the trailer. All right, you're an aux.
Back to dump, yeah.
Yep. Is that gate still coming down?
Yep. I'm pretty sure it's that valve. It works fine in that position.
Oh, nice.
Slide's good.
I say it's like pulling the tablecloth out from underneath the table.
Okay, what do we have here? This is not, I mean, if we spread this all over the yard, it'll be fine, won't it?
I think so. Well, you got to do that salt and pepper shake thing, I guess.
Salt and pepper shake.
That's what Doug
Yeah, just
said.
like your eggs.
Just like your eggs.
Just like your eggs.
Okay.
I have to imagine that's full.
It'll get going here in a minute, Dave. Look at her go now.
And how much salt and pepper you want?
Yeah. I think you can get a little closer to the pond then based on that. It actually is doing a great job.
Oh, man, it threw one way out there.
Dump that, and then I'll try to.
It looks like the rest of the stuff's going to come out pretty much first. So.
Yeah, big old hump through there.
A little bit bigger than we want to run through the spreader.
Oh, the spreader's not going to eat that. That's a full bite.
Structure. It'll probably float. That'll be trouble.
Not what you had in mind, or?
Did it float?
No? Straight to the bottom, Tim.
What happens when I continue to load when it's already full?
Pours out the other side.
It just gets more full.
Dave convinced me to get out the manure spreader to spread out some of this. Well, it was supposed to be compost, but I think it's a little bit more wood chips than it is compost. It's getting pretty rotten. This spreader is working amazingly well at spreading this stuff. I'm excited about that. Yeah, so what we're seeing here is we don't want too much of this, right? This will make it difficult for grass to grow if we got it too thick. So spreading it, I think, seems to be the right way to go. This particular spreader is ground driven. It's from abiattachments.com. It's a 50 cubic foot capacity. I don't know how many bushels that is, 50 cubic feet. Just for visual, one trip around the pond is enough to empty it. I'm even willing to stand behind it when we're throwing wood chips.
The manure fork is working better than I thought it might.
It's actually working great with these wood chips. And I can get a much larger load than I could with a bucket. Just a much larger load. So there's kind of two different streams coming out of the spreader. There's some that drops right out of the rear of the spreader, and that doesn't get touched by the big spinners, okay? But then the higher level stuff gets thrown out by the spinners. So that's the results that we're seeing is there's a nice, smooth, even amount that comes out right below the spinners that never gets touched. And then the spinners do indeed break up some of the taller piles and throws it. I would say the majority of the material comes out of the spreader without hitting the spinners at the top. So it just drops straight out. But that's fine, because that's spreading it evenly and it's working well. Dave, we're going to have to get cowboy hat mounted headset for you.
Yeah, I tried to wear it. It's too big for it. I was actually thinking about how to pull that off.
Yeah, we're going to have to, they make a hard hat mount, but we're going to have to get a cowboy hat mount.
The hard hat mount might work.
Stick with us here. We thought this spreader, spreading these wood chips, was really cool, so we're showing you a little more of it than we typically would. Little on, little in. There'll be more of it flowing when I have a taller pile like that. But you can still see that nice, even distribution right under the spreader itself. A little wider, Dave. I don't think you need to go any thicker.
I don't think I need to get any closer either.
That stuff won't hurt you.
Yeah, but it can get in my eye.
The soil that I'm spreading around the pond and even on that rim there that I created is the subsoil that came out of the pond. When we first saw it, it was blue. If you remember that, I called it blue clay in several episodes. While I haven't had that soil tested, I'm pretty sure that it's not going to be high in fertility and definitely not high in organic matter. So today's project is really to improve that. We're going to spread out this compost or wood chips, whatever they are. And then we've got some black topsoil that I specifically set aside. We'll spread it too in a couple of minutes.
That's got to look really cool, Kristen. I don't think you're going to have much material left time you get to the destination. You know, if a guy'd have been smart, he'd have dumped a truckload down there for that purpose.
I did dump a truckload down there for that purpose, but then we used it spreading the first around the top of the pond, and I kind of forgot.
Flip that log out of there? Sort of. Good enough.
Let me put you another bucket on there. Well, that's a load.
We'll run it down there.
Overall, this ground-driven spreader is great, but one thing that is a little bit of annoyance is that you have to get off the tractor to move those levers to enable and disable the spinners and the spreader. If PTO-driven, you could do it from the seat.
You can keep up with us with the drone, Kristen.
Yeah.
Even when we change into the pond.
Looks like it's staying in the bucket pretty good. Or on the spears, maybe, I should say.
Yeah, it's doing pretty good. And honestly, it's doing a better job spreading than what we would have been able to do by hand and power rake and box blade and every other approach we were proposing. I'm able to almost keep up with them, all in a bucket at a time, all the way to the end of the pond. Okay, hold it. Since you're here, and I'm here. I see a little log. My question is, how are we going to be able to power rake and all without totally displacing all this nice spreading job? I guess it all just kind of mixes together. It's a beautiful day. It's hard not to have fun out here playing around, doing something that's not really important. What do you think? Is that enough there, or are you going to hit her? It really looks like you're going to make one more circle.
Make one more circle. There's a couple of spots out there if I can get it to go that far. Yeah.
I'll bring you one more bucket. We got maybe 4 more loads total with that spreader. Actually, this load's kind of falling off the fork, so that I may end up spreading most of it myself.
You're going to want to do something. This is pretty rough to mow.
Think so?
I don't know. Well, yeah. I don't know what you want to do, but you're going to have to do something.
Well, just have you mow.
Yeah.
Something else. Stop.
Well, I tell you what. I'll use Johnny to mow it, but I'm going to have the land leveler, the land plane, what do we call this thing?
Yeah.
Have that on the front of it.
You know what? Part of the reason it is so rough is that you don't have any rear ballast other than the wheel weights and the rim guard.
That is also true. I'm just going to continue on around the pond. You think that's all right?
I think that's fabulous.
Okay.
Once we get up here, how about spreading even closer to the pond? Just get right up, and it doesn't matter if it throws some in the pond. I don't think there's any problem with that.
At this point, I wasn't really sure how I was going to incorporate all of this, but I figured it out later. In our next episode, you'll see that, and you will also see the full seeding. And at the risk of destroying the suspense, it looks beautiful after it's seeded. So be sure to check out our next pond episode to get it. Hey, we're not done here yet. We've still got to spread that black soil.
However close you dare drive.
Oh, we might get a little close there.
No, I think you're fine. Get closer. That's what I'm saying. However close you dare to drive is how close you want to be. Don't worry about the spreader. It's not going to go off in the pond without you. It'll drag you with it.
Comforting, isn't he?
Well, you didn't see what I just did there, so.
I must have missed it. Did you kind of slide?
Oh, I put that spreader tire over the edge.
I don't know if that hurts.
You know, I don't know either, but it was definitely enough to make me pucker.
Okay.
If it was an empty spreader, wouldn't care.
The manure forks are working beautifully for this. They really are. I thought once it was all loose, they might not work as well, but they're working really well. I don't know where he's going, that's why I don't know where I'm going. Oh, look at that. Yeah, you can turn right back on itself.
Oh, absolutely.
So I had some black topsoil that I dug out with the mini excavator when I made the pond a little bit wider. And since we've got this manure spreader out here and it seemed to be working really well with the manure, I decided I would try spreading this black topsoil. I don't know. This is probably going to take too long to be worthwhile, but it does do a great job spreading it. But we would like it a little bit thicker than what we had this mulch. We'll see how it goes. We'll try it a little bit more here. I wouldn't mind to have an inch of this black topsoil on top of everything. Don't know if I have enough of that to go around. It was probably about 18 inches deep, but it wasn't a huge area that I dug out like that.
I'm not sure I can think of anything else that would do as good a job at spreading it evenly as this thing. You can actually see the difference in color between the mulched stuff and the soil.
How about you circle out and turn around this time, Dave? Assuming I can lift this load that high. I have quite a load for being heavy topsoil. Dave and I were enjoying this so much that we eventually just spread the entire pile of topsoil out. I won't bore you with all of that video, but we will show you the result in the next episode as we begin to get ready for the seeding. Well, I would say this was a little bit unique usage of a manure spreader, but a lot more fun than manure. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. To those who were disobedient long ago when God waited patiently in the days of Noah while the ark was being built. In it, only a few people, 8 in all, were saved through water. And this water symbolizes baptism that now saves you also. Not the removal of dirt from the body, but the pledge of a clear conscience toward God. It saves you by the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Tell you what, I'll go get you another bucket this time.
Don't be denting that again.
Yeah.
You're worried about the tiller. I'm worried about that ATV and my wife.